Hey, what is up, fellow bench warmers? Welcome to another daily Fantasy Quickie. Hey guys, what's up? It's another daily Quickie time, and I hope you are enjoying your day as you are watching this. How are you, Kumish?
Feeling okay. My teams are not doing as well, but that's how fantasy is. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Yep, my teams are doing quite well. I have some 8-1s there and 7-2s. So
There.
hopefully, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it can hold. And I've got some teams looking. I'm quite confident a few of my teams made it because the difference from the 8th seed and the 9th seed is quite far already. So it's hopefully no injuries and everyone healthy. All right, let's talk about fantasy. Let's start off with
Speaking of
injuries.
healthy. Yeah, speaking of healthy, let's
Start with injuries. Well, Paul George played today.
Yes.
Surprisingly, very annoyingly played today because it seems like a last minute decision to play him. Any injury updates on him?
I did not put this in my quickie, so I'm gonna say it here because he had the press conference afterwards, and the injury was related. This foot injury that they've been saying is related to his bone edema way before, which is swelling a bone in his feet. His foot is swelling. He said he could not lift his toe, a part of his toes. He could not lift it, so there's no pop, there's no nothing. He just played through it. Now they're not sure what to do with it. Like, they don't know how to manage it, how to treat it, what's the best thing to do. There's possibility that they will play some games, and then some games when it's really bad they will not play. So this fantasy wise will be a headache for managers because we will not know. Sometimes he said that they'll wait until the very last minute to know if he can play or not, because like today he was able to play through it, but he did not feel anything, he said, in that part of, like, I don't know where that is, in the toe. So this is gonna be a headache. Like, it's not like he's gonna probably be questionable for the rest of the season, unless they're gonna rest him for a while, which they're not even sure will work for his injury. So this one's a tricky one. It's very tricky.
So
it's not
like
IL related. So
yeah, it's not going to be IL. Well, it can be IL eligible, but if he's going to be questionable every time, it's going to be hard to decide. He can be IL plus eligible for some leagues, which has IL plus slots in their teams. But again, this is going to be a tricky situation because heading into a fantasy playoffs, you need a Paul George. You need a player like Paul George who you pick probably second round or even third round.
And the thing is, you don't know if he's gonna play or not until the day itself, or maybe even hours before the game. You still don't know.
Yep.
So that would be the one and their games usually, because they're the Clippers, they'll be the last game of the slate. So you won't have any replacements. So that's a problem.
So I
suggest you try to trade.
Yeah, you try to sell your Paul George already and see what type of value you can get for him. All right.
Correct.
Another update. Let's talk more other injuries. James Harden did not play today due to hamstring issues. Seems minor, right?
Yes, he left. He left the game the other day with the third quarter with the hamstring injury. Although MRI was clean, doesn't seem to be that serious as Kevin Durant's injury. So that's good news. I think he's gonna miss 1 or 2 games at most.
All right. So that's not serious. Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram were also out.
Yes, Zion Williamson's injury was a sprained thumb, and at first they were afraid it was gonna be a week to week thing, but they upgraded him to day. So we're crossing our fingers that it's not going to be anything serious. Maybe I hope that the MRIs or any other scans will be clean for him. Maybe it was clean, that's why they made him day to day. But I'll not be surprised if he's going to miss 1 or 2 more games also, because they'll probably be safe with him. It's Zion.
Yep.
So
how about Brandon Ingram?
Brandon Ingram has a toe infection. So I don't know if this is
what's
like
with
Kyle
all
Lowry's
these
situation. You know, toes are the in thing in the NBA.
Yeah, and yesterday
I
Andre Drummond was interviewed and asked about the injury, and he said, hopefully you're not watching this while eating, but his toenails were scraped off his toes. That's why he was not able to play through the injury, and he did not feel it at first until later on. So that's why he's played a few games. I think someone stepped on his foot. So that's a cringeworthy injury update from Andre Drummond. He could miss a couple of
toes are the in thing right now.
Yes.
For the NBA.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to John Collins. John Collins will be out 7 to 10 days, a week or so. Probably safe to say he is out for the rest of probably this week, and probably next week he'll be out, right?
That's the safe assumption. You assume he's out this week, he's out the whole of next week.
Yep.
So Danilo Gallinari, of course, the direct beneficiary, but Bogdan Bogdanovic today played 45 minutes and had a great game. He had a season high 28 points, 2 steals, 1 block. So I think he's also indirectly benefited with Collins out. Of course, Capella's gonna have those 2016, 2020 games again, while Collins is out. So those guys should benefit with Collins out right now.
Yeah. Also important to notice, if you are a fantasy manager right now, with these types of short-term injuries like John Collins, see which players are being given minutes, especially the low-end ones, because that can factor in later on in the fantasy playoffs. When some players rest, at least you know who to pick up later on.
Yes.
All right, so those are important details that you might want to get into. All right, lastly, we have Shai update. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, another player who's been questionable, or at least we don't know a timeline yet. So is there a timeline already for Shai's injury?
The coach of OKC said that it's going to be a middle of April thing. That's their next evaluation for Shai. Doesn't mean he's coming back middle of April, but that will be the time they'll evaluate him further. But he said he's going to play again this season, definitely. So if I am going to guess, they're probably going to try to let him play the last 2 weeks of the season. So that will be May. That'll be May already. But if you guys are doing well and you have Shai, maybe just keep him in your ILs, because we're probably still gonna see him this season. Time.
We still got some questions on Shai, whether they should drop Shai even if they're like first in their league. If you're first in your league,
I think you should hold.
Yeah, if you're first in your league and you have an IL slot, I think you should hold. If you are desperate for scores or points or whatever you need to win your fantasy week, then maybe it will be a tough decision, but you can probably choose to drop him if there's no IL slot, right? So again, the focus is getting into the playoffs, and if you're safely in there, you have better options than just dropping him altogether or trading him. Maybe that's the first option, trading him before dropping him. All right. So those are our storyline updates, injury updates. Those are the injury updates. Let's talk about storylines. Today, 2 of our favorite players here in Fantasy Benchwarmers, Kevin Love and LaMarcus Aldridge, played. They played fairly well. But at least better than their past games. So what do you see here?
Let's start with Kevin Love. We talked about him yesterday. Jeremy was being very skeptical about Kevin Love, but I picked
Kevin Love in our useless debate.
Yes.
Okay,
But I said
Love.
I did say that I'm thinking he's gonna play today, and he played today. He started also because Larry Nance is out, Jarrett Allen is out. He played 20 minutes, which I told Jeremy off the record that I think that's the maximum, maybe a little more, 23, 24, maybe half of a game. That's the maximum of Kevin Love right now, in my opinion. But what he gave today, 13 points, 4 3-pointers, that is doable for Kevin Love. But of course, I'm saying add him, but do not just expect that he's going to be for the rest of the season. Of course, his body will break down. Of course, Jarrett Allen, Larry Nance will come back. So those things he will get rest here and there. So, but right now, just play it by the ear. He's playing. The others are not. So pick him up. So that's Kevin Love for me.
And Kevin Love had 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. Not bad.
Yeah.
For a 20-minute game. And he can be serviceable. I think he is proving some of our followers wrong, because I put out the useless debate poll yesterday on DeMarcus Cousins and Kevin Love, and so far Kevin Love's leading that race. So of course we mentioned as well in the quickie that DeMarcus Cousins is not yet, I think, officially a Clipper.
Yes, not yet a Clipper. Still discussing.
So they are still timing, and he may eventually end up not being a Clipper if nothing signed. He may end up not having any team, but yeah. So Kevin Love showing that he can still do it, despite lots of backlash or comments that he should retire already. All right, another player who played his first game with his new team, LaMarcus Aldridge. These are the prodigal sons, as we call them.
Yes.
LaMarcus Aldridge played 29 minutes and had 11 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. So those are solid stat lines. What's your take on LaMarcus here?
LaMarcus is an ad. No? Now, we were not sure. We said that it's a bad situation for him in Brooklyn because they're very deep. They had Deandre, they had Claxton, they have Blake Griffin. But Deandre Jordan, the important thing to note here was Deandre Jordan was a DNP, coach's decision. He was not played at all. LaMarcus started, and then the pure backup of LaMarcus was Nick Claxton. Blake Griffin was rested. So, okay, we want a pattern. We want a pattern to emerge. I think this would be what it would be going forward. LaMarcus will start. Claxton will be the backup. DeAndre Jordan will be the third string. Might not play much. Now, on days where LaMarcus will rest, I think DeAndre Jordan will start again for 12-15 minutes, and then Claxton and Blake Griffin and those players get the other minutes. So, what does it say for their fantasy values going forward? Claxton, for one, I think is a safe player right now, given that he's a pure backup already. He got all the backup minutes, although he didn't have a good game today, but still, that's okay.
And he didn't have great minutes, considering the game was a blowout. It was a blowout. He played only 13 minutes.
No, because it's a blowout. So they'll just try other players, try other things.
Like he is a young dude. Come on.
No, it's the first game of LaMarcus, so they probably want LaMarcus to play with different combinations also, right? I mean, in real game situations. Yeah. So LaMarcus getting 29 minutes was probably a factor of that. They wanted to see who he fits best with. But at this point, LaMarcus as a starting center of Brooklyn is very, very appealing to me, as long as he gets 25 to 29 minutes. Yep. So that's good. I think it will continue that he will be the starter. DeAndre Jordan should be dropped everywhere. And so this is what I think going forward.
And also good to note that James Harden did not play yet. James Harden is probably their
Kevin Durant
facilitator out there, and LaMarcus could get better runs. My assumption with James Harden in the lineup, because he is a better facilitator for Brooklyn. But yes, LaMarcus Aldridge is back, guys. So hope you were able to add him while he was gone, and hope that he can help your fantasy teams moving forward. All right, let's move on to our big risers for this day. DeMar DeRozan, his former LaMarcus Aldridge's former teammate. DeMar DeRozan is still killing it in fantasy. He had 36 points today, 14 of 27. 9 assists, 5 rebounds, and just 1 turnover. No defensive stats, but that's okay.
I did mention I was thinking DeMar DeRozan. I was thinking Ben Simmons as a peg, right? These numbers are what we expect Ben Simmons to do without Joel Embiid. So I'm really disappointed with Ben Simmons, but I'm also very, very happy with DeMar DeRozan because he's top 35 this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think he can easily reach that. The assists, I'm comparing both Simmons and DeRozan because I'm sure during the draft, this was the two players you were choosing. And aside from steals, which is, of course, Ben Simmons' advantage, DeRozan has advantages everywhere. Yep. I mean, 3 points, field goal is close, but he's still ahead of Simmons, and then free throws. So I think DeRozan is very safe, safe going forward.
He has been playing really well. He has been quietly at that.
Quietly.
He has been out for a few games from time to time. But that's why I mentioned that he's been quietly playing very well, because when he's playing, he has been really good. And he is somewhat like a bigger version of Chris Paul, very efficient, very effective. The turnovers aren't too many. The defensive stats, he can give you a steal or two from time to time.
Yes, correct.
So still very solid play, DeMar DeRozan. All right, moving on to the.
And remember, San Antonio has a very good playoff schedule, so that too, you have to consider that.
All right. So let's see what happens there. And moving on to Orlando, we have Wendell Carter Jr. Playing really well with Orlando.
Playing really well. And Khem Birch, we're talking with Jeremy about the illness thing in the NBA. Khem Birch started but then could not play on because of an illness. MCW, I think, Jeremy said that he's also out with an illness. Larry Nance, Robert Williams, so Victor Oladipo. So a lot of NBA players are having this mystery illness, which is non-COVID related, according to them. So, going back to Khem Birch, Wendell Carter Jr. started in the second half. So I think this might be permanent. This is the moment where he officially takes over the starting position in Orlando. And today, 21 points and 12 rebounds. Can he do that? Yes. In this Orlando team, yes. And one or two blocks, yes.
There's really no one there to rely on except for Terrence
looking
Ross,
good.
maybe. Yeah. And there are a lot of Orlando players, still playing average. No standout really. Okiki has been okay.
Yeah.
So Dwayne Bacon has been okay. Not really something you'll be excited about, but they've been helping, but not the big game type. And probably
Jeremy has a theory about this illness thing. Maybe you want to tell them.
Yeah, I was just thinking that maybe players in the US, some NBA teams are starting to get vaccinated, and this could be a result of some vaccines, side effects of the vaccines, players getting some flu, some fever and whatnot. So could be short term. I think that's my theory. I was just thinking it's
correct.
Very coincidental, where lots of players are getting rest, lots of players are getting sick at the same time. And like Eric said off the record, that it's not even flu season. So what probably I just thought that maybe players are just getting some side effects from the vaccines, which can happen. All right.
Yeah.
Other players on the big risers: Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Josh Hart. We talked about Josh Hart a bit yesterday. Him being able to rebound, or I forgot who was the player we compared him to.
Hamidou Diallo.
Hamidou Diallo, and we mentioned that he could be a better option than Hamidou Diallo. But Nickeil Alexander-Walker has been benefiting from the absence of Lonzo Ball, and there have been a lot of questions again on Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, Josh Hart is averaging 13 rebounds the past 6 games, and he's top 90 now. He's just continuing to impress. And I think with this injury to Zion, although he might play through it, I think Josh Hart can, and Ingram, by the way, is also out. Josh Hart can clearly continue this pace. The rebounding is just insane. I mean, 6'5" and averaging 13 to 14 rebounds is unbelievable.
But he has been a really good rebounder for a guard ever since.
Yes, but not this good. I mean, he's been consistent with the rebounds. He's been so consistent with the rebounds, and he's scoring more. Because remember, JJ Redick is out.
Yep.
And the bench of the Pelicans is kind of young, and so they would need a veteran presence, which is what Josh Hart is giving them.
Yep.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker, meanwhile, so good, such great fantasy player. I mean, good in the sense of fantasy. I mean, in reality, I haven't seen him much. I have seen him play much, but in fantasy, he's really fantasy gold. If he only gets this minutes all the time, if he continues to play, if Lonzo never comes back, Nickeil Alexander-Walker would be the guy who can win and swing fantasy seasons for fantasy owners. Because not only scoring, his steals, his 3 points, has been very elite. And next year, guys, don't forget this name. Yep. Don't forget this name during the draft.
A name to always remember heading into the drafts.
Yeah.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker had 31 points, 13 of 24 from the field. He had 4 threes, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and a block. Although he had 5 turnovers, but
unbelievable.
you'll take that.
But right? Come on, that's his ceiling. That's his ceiling.
He played 38 minutes.
That's how good he is.
And he played 38 minutes. And the Pelicans are so depleted that they only played 8 players. And some of their starters played 14 minutes, particularly Bledsoe and Josh Hart. Imagine Josh Hart played 46 minutes. And it didn't even go to overtime. That didn't go to overtime. So, crazy numbers in terms of minutes. All right. Duncan Robinson, starting to feel it. The guy is starting to be hot. Remember, a month ago, we said it's really lost his shooting touch. But now he has 24 3-pointers the past 4 to 5 games, 24 total. And he's rebounding more because remember, it's Adebayo and wing players now in Miami. So Ariza, Iguodala, and now Duncan Robinson, they have to help Adebayo with the rebounding. And it has shown in his numbers. It's been 4 to 5 rebounds. Not much, but still, I mean, before it's just purely threes. So it's going to give us at least some rebounds and 1 steal here and there. Perfect for him. Perfect for his value. And Oladipo also played?
Yeah.
Is this his first game? I think this is his first game, right?
First game of Oladipo. Yeah, so coming off a illness, bad cold, he said, I don't think it's going to affect Duncan a lot. I think it might actually help him because Oladipo likes to slash and then kick out, right?
Yep.
So that's good. That's good for Duncan.
Duncan Robinson playing well as of now, and hopefully you didn't drop him early in the season where he was really struggling. Let's move on to some players that you might drop or consider dropping, and let's start with James Wiseman.
Yes, James Wiseman. So disappointed with this kid. I mean, I was so high on him, especially when he was starting already. I thought he's going to give us 12-8. Well, actually, he has those games. 18, 15 points, 7 rebounds. Yes, he's not consistent.
He hasn't been
he's
really
like
consistent.
Hit or miss.
Yeah.
Hit or miss for James Wiseman. And it's so frustrating, so irritating. But I think, again, the Warriors keep on losing. Sometime in the future, Wiseman might be the primary option when there's no more chance for the Warriors. So
in this
just
Warriors
keep him.
team,
just hold him.
The Warriors team looks like a bit of a mess. Like they can't see good wins. Everyone's just relying on Steph. Really, no one there to play. I mean, no one there to rely on, I guess. So it has been a mess. So hopefully he gets some time, extra time or extra burn. But he has been starting.
The Warriors,
right?
The Warriors are in different timelines. Curry, Draymond, they're Oubre, Wiggins, they're there to win. But then the other players, the bench players, Jordan Poole, James Wiseman, these guys are there. They need development.
Yep.
So that's why I agree with Jeremy. It's really a mess right now. Their timelines are not aligned.
Yep, and
So it's really
the
tough. I don't know what they
combination of
want
the
to do.
players really aren't as good so
Yes,
far,
yes.
and as good as they want to be. All right, another player who is we are worried about is Tobias Harris.
Yeah, I'm not as much as worried, but I think there's a chance to buy him. Maybe not buy low, but buy him because I love Tobias Harris, as you know. The past 3 games, 3 of the past 4 games, 15 points, 12 points, 12 points. So, and then it's a factor of different things. Like most of the games were blowouts and those things. So, I think if you want to get him, now is the time. Embiid, by the way, our listener Romulo gave us a good update with Embiid this Sunday. I think he's gonna play already.
Yep.
No back-to-backs, but he's gonna be back.
I think
already,
this is his 3rd week, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's good news. So don't forget to play your Embiids. Don't be like Jeremy, not playing Paul George. and picking up a player who doesn't.
Okay, now Embiid is
even
playing. Trade deadline is nearing. Is it still a good time to trade Embiid?
Yes. For me, no back-to-backs is kind of hard, kind of a problem. But if you want to trade him, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that pending the deal. Tell me what the deal is, and then I can say if it's okay or not.
Yeah, of course. It always depends on what you get for an Embiid.
Maybe Vucevic. I can see that. I would like that if it's Vucevic. Yep. I mean, for me, actually, it's Vucevic. I'll probably
Vucevic is playing okay, not as good as when he was in Orlando, but he's still good. I mean, he's still really good.
He's a first rounder, and if you want someone safe, go for him. If you're trading Joel Embiid, go for him.
So it will be a hard sell to trade Embiid for Vucevic, but you can try or add a kicker there.
If he comes back. No, if he
comes back, yes, and he plays really well.
Yeah, 1 or 2 games.
Yep. Yeah. Or worst case is you add a kicker, a player who has been hot but might not sustain it throughout the season. All right.
Yeah.
So that's Tobias Harris. He is still a solid player. I don't think you should do anything drastic with your Tobias Harris. He is.
I put him there for them to buy him actually because he's struggling, but I think he's.
Yep.
He's gonna turn it around.
There is still time.
Yeah.
Kevin Huerter and DeAndre Hunter. We have lots of questions about DeAndre Hunter, whether he is a safe stash, even without IL's positions. Is he going to be better? Is he coming back, or how long is he going to be out?
The thing with Hunter is the knee. He doesn't even know what. It's like Paul George. He doesn't know how he will feel. So we can't even answer that for you. He cannot even answer that for you if he's coming back, or how long will he play, when he will come back, or what will happen. He doesn't know it too. So if he's a good stash, no, he's not a good stash. There's too much uncertainty, and he's not a top 30, top 40 player, not a top 50 player. And then Gallinari,
the potential
Bogdanovic
is not going to be there anymore, unlike when he started.
Yeah. Yes. So it's not a good stash for me. Huerter is a drop already. So both of these players are trending down. Yeah.
So there, DeAndre Hunter. Don't hold on to what he did early this season, because I think that won't happen anymore. Because I think a lot of managers saw the potential, but with this injury, I doubt he can get back there, or even I doubt he can get back even close to that level.
But if he's healthy, even if he doesn't go back to that level, I'm okay with him. But the problem is the health. He's not healthy.
Yeah,
that is the number one problem.
Yep. And last of our players we worry about is Goran Dragic.
Should be dropped, guys.
Who hasn't really played much this year.
Yes, but he's owned in 50% of the leagues. I don't know why we don't get questions about Goran Dragic, but he's tragic this year. It's very tragic.
Goran Dragic. Tragic.
I mean, he's 50% owned. I don't understand how that can happen. You guys should move on from Goran Dragic. He didn't even play today.
Name value.
Yeah, name value. Maybe I will pick him over DeAndre Jordan. Maybe DeAndre Jordan. Yes, I could do that. But no, for anybody else, I'm gonna drop him.
All right. Yep, that's it for our worrying players. Let's move on to our waiver pickups. Isaiah Hartenstein and Dean Wade
These
playing
two
well
players,
without
the
Allen and Nance.
white boys of Cleveland. The white boys of Cleveland. And Hartenstein came off the bench for Love. He's solid. 12 points, 7 rebounds, a couple of blocks. And Dean Wade, guys, I love Dean Wade. He's 2 3-pointers a game, 30 plus minutes.
Dean Wade is white, right?
Dean Wade is white.
The white Wade.
Dean Wade, when you hear about him, you think, hey, this guy is probably black. Probably, Afro guy or something.
The white
athletic
D-Wade.
guy. But when you see him, he's probably more white than Kevin Love. He doesn't have a beard. He's like
and sometimes it's deceiving on the names.
Yes.
It says D Wade, so you'll think, is Dwayne Wade back?
D Wade. This D Wade is basically an Eric Hubert Go player. Stand up in the corner.
Okay,
or
so
outside.
they probably don't know what type of player Eric Go is.
Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr. The best comparison.
Yeah, I'm a Steve Kerr, man. I'm a Steve Kerr. I've never made a layup in my life.
Yes, only shoots threes, even on fast breaks.
Yes.
And will save the GOAT from time to time.
Yes, that's true. And I'm the playing coach of our team, so if they don't pass the ball to me, they basically don't get to play much. So that's the kind of player I am. And Dean Wade is not a playing coach, but he's basically that kind of a player. Spot up shooter.
All right. Other waiver wires pickups: Lou Williams. Couple of old names that has resurfaced: Lou Williams and Jeff Teague.
Lou Williams is just my own speculation. I'm looking at the Hawks lineup. There's no backup for Trae Young. I mean, good win, but the real backup, the one you can depend on, especially they're looking for a playoff spot, I don't see anybody there. So I think Lou Williams played 22 minutes today. He can easily get 25 or more next time. 12 points, 5 assists, 6 assists, couple of threes, a steal. Reasonable for me. So
is he an ad in what type of league? 14 team?
Actually, in 14-team leagues, I can see a possibility that he can be a gamble. He can be a speculative ad, right? So I'm gonna pick him in 14-team leagues also.
All right. And lastly, Jeff Teague is
a deeper league.
Milwaukee.
That's a deeper league. A stream, a short-term play. Not yet. But they already announced his signing.
Yeah,
apparently, Coach Bud is his former coach. So, like Corey Joseph, by the way, I add Corey Joseph. He played well again today. So these players, Lou Williams, Corey Joseph, Jeff Teague. I won't alert the useless players debate anymore, but this is our useless player debate today. These three players, but I'm gonna go with Lou Williams for Corey Joseph and then Jeff Teague.
Yeah,
that's my order.
And these players could be good help. I mean, probably not long term. Probably stream players.
Sneaky help.
Yeah, sneaky.
Sneaky help. Corey Joseph is sneaky assist guy.
They're not sexy ads. If you're looking for those types of players, but they can help a team and they can give you numbers every now and then. So
agree.
That. All right. So that's it for our daily fantasy quickie today, guys. Hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you again tomorrow for another daily fantasy quickie. Bye, guys.
Bye.